To meet the UK target for carbon reduction, we need to cut our national emissions by 73% by 2050. The carbon footprint of business is twice that of domestic use. However, consumers have a vital part to play in encouraging business to take action. The Carbon Trust Standard Company recently asked the UK public and business leaders about their views on this topic.
Consumers will really reward those businesses that are taking credible action on climate change. Over 60% said they were more likely to buy from a company that can demonstrate real action on carbon reduction. They want business to take the lead towards the 2050 targets. In fact, 90% said they want business to cut at 3% a year, which is the rate that's roughly consistent with those long-term targets. So far in the UK, over 500 businesses have taken action, and they've collectively cut their carbon emissions by over 3.5 million tonnes of CO2 a year. So that's great performance. And we've gathered together some of those leading Carbon Trust standard bearers today to give you some further thoughts on the issue.
We operate Europe's largest guest consumer survey, and every month thousands of our guests get asked, and every single time they come back and tell us that the environment's important to them, and because of that it's important to us.
I think there is a clear trend in the market, especially among younger generations, to ask very detailed and informed questions and to probe the environmental credibility of the brands that they purchase. Consumers, as they are becoming ever more sophisticated and can draw on various sources, communication is key.
Social media over the last couple of years, we shouldn't be surprised by the amount of interest shown by the public and other businesses in companies' carbon credentials. When we tweeted the award of the Carbon Trust Standard towards the end of last year, it was one of the biggest stories for McLaren on Twitter, and also picking up feedback and followers from Facebook.
We're just about to launch a new service offering called System CO2, and that will offer our UK and global customers an ability to receive information about the carbon footprint of their goods whilst travelling through the TNT network.
In the last 2 years, we've saved over 30,000 tonnes of carbon and also avoided around £5 million of energy costs. And I think our work with the Carbon Trust, particularly around the carbon standard, has kept us really focused on being a leading business in this area.
We've seen in 2 years a saving of almost £2 million in electric, gas and water savings by our investment in carbon reduction.
Consumers becoming more and more aware and looking for businesses that actually make positive steps towards reducing their emissions.
Technologies that have transferred through from the racing arena down into the more general consumer market generally would be things like turbocharging, variable valve timing, kinetic energy recovery systems, which were all developed in Formula One and have found their way through to general road car use.
The New Car Buyer Survey has for a number of years shown us the increase in environmental credibility as a purchase motivation among customers. And especially among Toyota customers, because of the technology that we offer, this environmental credibility is even a stronger purchase motivation.
Customers, whether they're consumers or whether they're business-to-business customers, can actually see the work that we've done and can judge us with an independent validation that will enable them to see that we are doing more for the environment, more in terms of reducing our carbon footprint, and by association their carbon footprints, because they're travelling with our service. They're then telling us that they're able to use that validation to sell on to their own customers and to prove that they are doing the most they can to reduce the carbon footprint, to reduce the food miles of the goods that they're actually transporting. Customers see us as an extension of their business, so they're keen to drive down their carbon reduction, and by working with an organisation such as TNT, we can support their philosophy and ethos and achievement of their environmental objectives.
I think there's 3 key things. Firstly, it's a more efficient way of running a business, so both in terms of cost savings but also opportunities. Secondly, actually customers are increasingly demanding it. Even during the recession, customers recognise that being more energy efficient, for example, can actually save them money and help them do the right thing. But I think the third thing is actually it's a really powerful way of involving your employees through often quite difficult economic times, we found huge buy-in to our Think Big program within our own business.